Today's Cowboys Report, the morning edition of it, is made possible by Roan. You guys can get 20% off your order by going over to roan.com/chatsports and using code chatsports. Got plenty of Jerry Jones comments to get into on today's show, but I do want to update everyone on the sub challenge, having more subscribers gained in August 2024 compared to last August. Now, this is a challenge for us because we're a pretty big channel. We are about 300 behind on the pace. That's doable to get caught up on. Let's get it started today. You want multiple videos each and every single day? Then subscribe to us here on the Cowboys Report, plus live shows, watch parties, and a whole lot more. Let's begin with the latest on CeeDee Lamb. And to an extent, it's the same old refrain. The Cowboys say, we're working hard on a CeeDee Lamb deal, but how close are they? Really? Here's the latest from Jerry Jones, who says, we're in good shape there, and we're having promising talks. And you say, well, why do you keep talking? Why aren't you doing something? As in anything, it takes both of you there at the same time, but I believe it's got the proper amount of everything. Emphasis, importance for everybody involved here, and we'll see how it goes. Facts are that I believe will come together. I don't want to speak for him. It's not what I'm trying to do. We wouldn't have offered him what we would have offered him if we didn't want him to be here. Look, honestly, if we had those quotes in March, fine. You know, if that was what you had said coming out of your combine meeting with Lamb's agent, I'd view that as a good thing. It is less so a good thing when we are now in late August and we can count the days until we get to week 1 of the NFL regular season. And it's also frustrating when we know the rough parameters of a contract. Honestly, if you wanted to, you could probably get that deal pretty close to being done in an hour in a phone call. Now, that's if you cave and blah, blah, blah. But we know the framework. It is probably going to be closer to Justin Jefferson at $35 million than it is A.J. Brown, which the Cowboys right now are not offering that from an average per year perspective. I think that's also probably true in the guaranteed angle perspective of $110 million from Justin Jefferson compared to A.J. Brown, D.J. Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think it's less the average per year and a lot more of maybe the years, which is just classic Cowboys, and the guaranteed money and the structure and the nitty-gritty details that actually really matter more than the flashy big average per year or total money figure. So what is your concern level over CeeDee Lamb getting paid? I honestly thought this would be done by now. I am frustrated it is not. Are you panicking, though? 1 to 10 is your scale. Go do it at the pinned comment of today's show. You have a very tough time finding anyone around the NFL that thinks this deal doesn't get done. Everyone thinks it's going to happen. Everyone. You don't take my word for it. Take Adam Schefter's word for it. Saying, quote, there hasn't been a lot of movement, but there continues to be a sense across the league that this deal will get done and that Lamb will not miss any time and he'll be there for the Cowboys' regular season opener. Now, again, what goes against this is Lamb still isn't in camp when there is a roadmap for all the top wide receiver deals. Field, Yates, he then spoke to, we could sit down and have this hammered out before the end of this fantasy football marathon if the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb continue to go on without striking a contract. It has been like 79 days between Justin Jefferson getting paid and CeeDee Lamb getting paid. So even if we operate under the theory, which I don't know if it's actually true, that Lamb wanted to wait until Justin Jefferson, it's been a long time. It's been months. It's been 2.5 months now. We are almost to 3 months. Why are we waiting? Look, I think the deal looks something like this. And you give or take, the average, maybe it's a little bit higher or a little bit lower. The guarantee a little bit higher, a little bit lower. It's probably going to be a 4-year deal. That's what players sign these days. Cowboys have to accept that. They are not special. They are not. Maybe sometimes a player will be nice to you. But if you're going to be at the top of the market for a player, that's what CeeDee Lamb is. He's a top 3 wide receiver, especially a young one. Got to play the market rate. Trying to be special, and when you haven't won shit in 30 years, isn't going to work. Now, today's show is made possible by Roan. They are a very special company. I love their polos. They look good. They feel good. And I think that helps me perform good as well. Get it? Because good is not the proper word there. Anyway, you guys can get 20% off your order by going to roan.com/chatsports and using code ChatSports. They have products for every occasion. Talking pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos like the one that I wear, blazers. Their signature 4-way stretch fabric is breathable, flexible, and works everywhere from your commute to work, to the drive home, to golf, dinner, drinks, whatever, you name it, Roan has you covered. The Commuter Collection gets you through any workday and right into whatever comes next. So head to roan.com/chatsports and use code ChatSports. Save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you go to RHONE.com/chatsports and use code ChatSports. Find your corner office comfort today with Roan. Let's go to Dak Prescott. I think a very different tone in terms of the contract talks on this one. Here's what Jerry Jones said. We're just continuing to talk. Since we're approaching in season, we're operating under the existing contract. I don't know if it was actually as dismissive as that quote makes it sound, but that is not the quote of we're going to get this deal done. Do you think the Cowboys will extend Dak Prescott? And this is what you think they do, not what you want them to do. We'll talk about that here in a second. Why for yes and for no in the comments of today's show. I continue to have my doubts a deal gets done. I think that is especially true before this season, in season, whatever. A, the Cowboys in general right now seem to be scared of spending. And B, Prescott is months away from truly, potentially, making history. You cannot find a quarterback of his age, his talent level, and, in theory, his health that has hit the open market. There's been better quarterbacks that were older or coming off of injury. Manning was coming off injury, but he was older at that point. The closest example is like Kirk Cousins, who got a fully guaranteed deal from the Vikings, by the way. But Dak's better than Kirk Cousins ever has been. I don't really believe that Dak is in a rush to re-sign. This is a guy who has bet on himself before. When the Cowboys had the disaster class the first time on the contract extension. And the Cowboys' approach seems to be, yes, we want him back, if we believe that, which, maybe they don't. But, hey, we want him to take less. We don't want to be market setters because they always set the market anyway, by the way. So, if the Cowboys' approach is, hey, you should take less, come on, help us out, well, he can wait until March. Because the Cowboys have shown time and time again, the offer, day one is a lot different than the offer the last day that you can possibly do it. And their offer might rise, which I would hate, but that's a bad process. What I don't want to do, by the way, is do this whole hey, we're not going to pay market rate, cave last second and actually just pay more if you just paid them the first time around, right? That's why I'm also not as mad over the Dak deal as the Lamb one. I am tired of the Dak conversation. It's not worth rehashing. It's frankly stupid. I'm tired of having it. But, I get why people want to move on. That's fine. Moving on from Lamb makes zero sense. I will fight you tooth and nail on that one. Some battles I still want to fight. Some I don't want to fight at this point. The Cowboys made their bed here years ago. They set themselves up for this with the way they've handled this whole contract thing. They messed up and then caved and gave Dak everything he could have possibly wanted. Now you've made your bed and now you're lying in it. We'll see how it all plays out, but I have my doubts this will please anybody, let alone some people. Let's talk Trey Lance then. Jerry Jones said he does want to see more from Trey Lance, but he is on the Dallas Cowboys roster this year. And to my surprise, there was some outcry over that. Or even just surprise of oh wow, they've locked him into a roster spot already. He hasn't earned it. They're just doubling down on their mistake. Wow, that's kind of surprising. They've already set it in. Here's the thing, it actually isn't at all surprising. This has been the case for a very long time, actually. The real debate is who's quarterback 2, which you might not know until you announce your emergency third QB. But who is QB 2 on this roster? TL for Trey Lance, CR for Cooper Rush. When we get to week 1, who is the backup? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Back to the whole, the surprise. No, it's not. Trey Lance was on a roster, almost surely the Cowboys, by the way, for the 2024 season, the day the Dallas Cowboys traded for him. His contract is and has been fully guaranteed. He's getting $5.31 million this year from the Cowboys. I don't know if there was any offset language in that deal. If there was, it was like $1 million worth. This was never in doubt. There was never a doubt that Trey Lance was going to be on this Dallas Cowboys roster. He was on it. They made the trade as a 2-year rental and then figured out after that. I saw growth last week from Trey Lance, by the way. I hope we see more growth in week 3 of the preseason. Expectations matter. We did a full video on that. But Lance being on this team, some years past, we've done like the bubble roster lock. He has always been on the roster lock side of it. The contract made that clear. Follow the money. It often leads to good things for you to figure out identification. So nobody actually should have been surprised by this one.